Good morning, students. Welcome to All Force e-learning classes. Today we are discussing about economics first year unit 3 third chapter. In that one we are going through the demand analysis, which is a very important one for an economics students, because until unless you don't know the exact details of the total demand, you are not going to take the decisions how to increase the production, whether to increase the price or not. You need to understand this demand very clearly and very closely. When you decide the demand, then only you can go for the supply, that is production. As it is, you have seen what are the common problems we see in the economics: what to produce, how to produce, how much quantities, that how much quantity, what to produce and how much quantity is answered by this demand analysis. You need to make a research in the market to get the exact demand, and after getting the demand you have to analyze what to do with the production. We will see in the production analysis how to decrease the cost, but here we will see how to increase the demand. What are the factors that influence the demand? For that, already yesterday we have seen, I told you that is at 3 levels: price demand, price influencing the demand, price demand, that is demand of X equals to price of X. Next, income demand. Third is cross demand. First one, in the last period we have had a detailed discussion, individual as well as market. But now we are going to watch in detail income demand and cross demand. Income demand and cross demand. These two we are going to discuss. Now, when it comes to income demand, we are going to see how the consumer income is going to influence demand for the commodities. Oh yes, consumer income also influences the demand of the commodity. In general, we see commodities are 2 types: superior goods, inferior goods. Superior commodities, inferior commodities. Here you may be getting a little bit confused. What is superior, what is inferior? It is a comparative term. It is a comparative term. For a poor man, even when he don't have even a cycle, a new cycle is going to be a superior good for his second hand or old cycle. For a man who is riding a bicycle, for him even a second hand scooter is a superior good. When you come to the rich people, high income group people, low income group people, it's a different concept. For high income group people, it's a different concept. A person who is having a Maruti 800 car, that is an old starting model, for him a Verna is a superior good. A person who is riding a Verna, for him Mercedes Benz is a superior good. See here, it always keeps changing. So in simple language, whatever gives you more comfort is superior good. Whatever does not give equivalent to that comfort is an inferior good for a person. Because for a person who is having a old cycle in which even the brakes also don't work properly, for him a new cycle is a superior good. For a person who is having a new cycle, for him a second hand scooter is a superior good. And a person who got a second hand scooter, if he get a Honda bike, that is a superior good. A person who got a Honda bike, for him a car is a superior good. See, it goes on changing. So here we will understand what is a superior good and what is an inferior good. Yesterday we have seen in given paradox also, there are 2 types of goods. When the people are preferring one to another, when the person is consuming bread, when the price increased, he was started consuming more of inferior good, bread, and replacing superior good, meat. See, this is all comparison. This varies from person to person, but it happens in the market in real time. Without any assumptions, we can come to the conclusion that we always, as the income increases, like to go to the superior goods. So that's why here we will see in the demand analysis how income of a consumer is going to influence the demand of a commodity. This can be explained with the help of demand of X commodity have a functional relation with income of the consumer. Demand of X commodity have a functional relation with consumer income. Now we will see in the next step there are two types of goods, superior and inferior. So consumer income increases. For some commodities demand increase, for some commodities demand decrease. Now here in this table we will see superior as well as inferior goods demand in this simple table. It is in your textbook. I depicted it as it is from your textbook so that it makes easier for you people to understand out of the textbook. Now see, when income is 2000, the superior good demand is for only 4 commodities, but inferior goods commodities got demand of 12. As the income goes on increasing, superior goods demand increasing. These superior goods are also called as normal goods. So normal or superior goods demand increased along with the income of consumer, whereas inferior goods demand decreased as the income of consumer increased. See, one is increasing, another is decreasing. This is superior good and this is inferior good. So this can be shown with the help of a graph too. So before that, we need to understand if a person is poor, his preferences are different. If a person starts increasing his income by working more harder, his preferences will be different. A poor man prefers broken rice because he cannot afford basmati rice or even normal rice. See, if his income increases, first he prefers normal rice. We have plenty of them in the market like BPT, HMT, etc. etc. or Masuri, Sona Masuri. See, a person who is affording Sona Masuri or HMT, he can go for superior good like basmati rice, jeera rice. There are plenty of types of rices are there in the market. So every time whenever income increases for a consumer, automatically he prefers superior than what he is using now today. He prefers superior or normal goods, much better qualitative. The demand for this superior goods or normal goods goes on increasing, whereas inferior goods goes on decreasing. Now we will see the graph of superior goods as well as inferior goods. So here we can say income have a positive relation with superior goods. Income have a positive relation with superior goods. Let me show you the positive relation. If the curve shifts from left to right upwards, then it is called as positive curve. If the curve slopes left to right downwards, then it is called negative or inverse curve. This is a positive curve. This shows the positive relation between income as well as superior or normal goods. See, when the income is I, demand for superior goods is D. If the I increased to I1, demand for superior goods also increased to D1. Yes or no? If income decreases to I2, then demand also decreases to D2. As the income increases, let us take from here. If the income increases, demand increased. If the income decreases, demand decrease. So they have a positive relation. When this increases, this increases, this increases. When this decreases, this decreases. You got the clarity? So the relation between demand and income for superior goods is positive. I hope it is clear for you people. Whatever been shown here in the graph, we are showing it here. Sorry, table or schedule. We are showing the same thing in the table and graph. See here, for our easy to understand, let us say 6,000 and the demand is 8. When income increased to, let us say 10, demand increased to 12. See, if income decreased to 2, demand decreased to 4. That is a positive relation. One increase, another increase. One decrease, another decrease. You got exact idea? Now, with this you can understand in the income, demand. In this analysis, we will see two types of goods. This is the graph and this is the table of superior goods. They have a positive relation. Now let us go to the inferior goods. What happens with the inferior goods? See, let us say from here itself to understand easily. When income of the consumer is 6,000, demand for inferior goods is 8. If his income decreases, the goods demand for inferior increases. See, this decreases, this increases. This increases, this decreases. You are watching it clearly? Let us say this is the beginning stage. From here, if income decrease, inferior goods demand increase. If income increase, demand for inferior goods decrease. How it can be shown? With the help of graph. Here we are showing the demand and here we are showing the income. Here also on y-axis we have shown the income and on x-axis we shown the demand. But here they have an inverse relation or negative relation. Then the curve will slope left to right, downwards. If you remember from the last lesson, generally demand curve slopes left to right, downwards, like this. This is a different level. But here, as let us say first income is I, that is 6,000. Demand for the commodity is how much? 8. For inferior goods, if income increases to I1, that is to 10,000. Then demand decrease from 8 to 4. See, 8 to 4. If income decreases to I2, that is to 2,000, then automatically demand increases to how much? 12. 2,000, it is 12. So there is a negative inverse relation between income and inferior goods. There is a positive relation between income and superior or normal goods. The curve slopes left to right upwards, the curve slopes left to right downwards. This shows clearly, okay? It shows clearly. One is positive relation, another is negative relation or inverse relation. In this one, as the income increased, demand increased, income decreased, demand decreased. But in this, exactly inverse. Income increases, demand decreases. Income decreases, demand increases. You have seen the income demand in detail. Now we will have a discussion of third one. I told you, price demand, income demand, and what? Cross demand. Now we are going to watch that cross demand. Like the same we have seen in the income demand, we are having to see through these two types of goods again. There superior and inferior, here substitute and complementary goods. Two types of goods again. Here it is actually about relative goods. Relative goods. You are using something, but it is related with something else. Those are called as relative goods. Sometimes prices of relative good changes, demand for another good changes. Substitutes are relative goods, complementaries are relative goods. In this, you need to remember substitute goods are called as competitive goods or competition goods. For one company who is manufacturing fans, another company who is manufacturing fans is a competitor, not complementary, competitor. That competition company is manufacturing substitute goods. If you use one for another, means there is a competition between these two. Those are substitute. I can use white chalk or this green chalk. If I prefer white company, then this is getting more demand. If I prefer green company, there is a competition between these two. I can substitute green for white or white for green. They are competitive goods. You got exact idea? So, substitution. Then what is complementary? Complementary means which helps us to use. Which helps us to use. Take this board. This board and this chalk are not competitors. I cannot substitute board with this chalk. Can I? Board serves different purpose and chalk will serve the different purpose. They are not competition goods, but they are complementary goods. See, without chalk, how I am going to explain you this class on the board? Is it possible? Not possible. Complementary means supporting, helping. Which helps us to use certain commodity is complementary. Like a chalk to the board, socks to the shoe, like milk to the coffee. Those are all complementaries. Sugar in a cup of tea, complementary. Okay. Some are complementaries, some are substitutes. So this one you can take it as competitive or competition good. This is a helping good, a supplement which helps us to use. Like for a car, petrol. Without petrol, can you use a car? Without petrol, can you ride a bike? Those are complementary. They are not competitive. They help each other. So now I hope you do understand exactly what is meant by substitute, what is meant by complementary. Here let us see substitute goods, coffee and tea. Yeah, you went to a new place in the winter time and it is too cool and you want to have something hot, and you went to a small stall where they are selling some hot drinks and you asked for coffee. They said, oh sorry, we don't have the coffee. Then what you will ask? Do you have tea? Then they say, yes, we have the tea. See, coffee to tea, it is a substitute. You prefer any one of them. Okay, so coffee and tea are substitutes. Here we will see how the price of another good is going to influence another good. See, it will be explained with the help of dx is equal to f of py. Demand of x commodity have a functional relation with price of y commodity. In the first one, price demand, we have seen demand of x commodity have a functional relation with price of x commodity, that is direct price. Here price of y commodity, here coffee is x, tea is y. Possible, no? Or we say tea is x, tea is x, and price is what? This y is what? Coffee. Anything you can substitute in any way. Or this is a car, x is a car and y is petrol. Complementary. So demand of car have a functional relation with price of petrol. Here demand of tea have a functional relation with price of coffee. You got it? Now we will see in detail. This table or this schedule shows you how coffee and tea are interrelated, being a competitive good or substitute good. Price of coffee 10. Demand for the coffee is 500 cups. Price of tea 10. Demand for tea is 500 cups. This is an assumption, easy for you to understand. Okay, see, there are, let us say, 1,000 people are there. 1,000 people are there. Out of those 1,000 people, 500 people are taking coffee, 500 people are taking tea. The price is same. For coffee, 10 rupees per each cup. Tea, 10 rupees per each cup. So 500 people are drinking coffee, 500 people are taking the tea. Here what happened, all of a sudden coffee price decreased. This is the first position. Then now the change, delta. Price decreased to 9 rupees. Automatically what happens? The people who are preferring tea jumps into, out of 1,000, 500 this side, 500 that side. Coffee, tea. All of a sudden, out of this 500, 100 people jumped to coffee. Because price of coffee decreased. But tea price is as it is, there is no change in the tea price. Tea price is same, but coffee price decreased. That's why demand for tea decreased and demand for coffee increased. Anyhow, we have seen whenever price decrease, demand increase. That happened with the coffee. Price decreased, demand increased. If you see inverse, price increased, demand decreased. So coffee price decreased, demand increased. But even though tea price did not change, its demand decreased. Here you can see demand for X commodity have a functional relation with price of Y commodity. Demand for tea have a functional relation with price of coffee. Now you got it, the substitution one. Now this again we will say in substitution, in general the relation in between price and demand is positive. There is a positive relation. Now let us say price of coffee. Okay, price of coffee. Demand of tea. Here we will show that. Okay, and you can see the relation is positive. First, what was the price of coffee? It was 10 rupees. Price of coffee is 10 rupees. Price of coffee is 10 rupees. What was the demand? 500. Tea demand was 500. Then all of a sudden, price of coffee decreased to 9. And that caused demand of tea to decrease 400. Yes or no? That is what happened. Price decreased, demand of coffee increased, but tea demand decreased. In case, let us see, it is not in the book, but for our understanding, if price of coffee increases to 11, assume to 11, what happens with the tea demand? Decrease. If price of coffee increases, tea demand decrease or increase? Yes, you are right. Certainly it will increase to 600, and at the same time demand for coffee decreases to 400. Now you got it. There is a positive relation. If Y good price increases, demand for X good increases. If good of Y price decreases, demand of X decreases. This is shown with the help of this table as well as graph. So substitute goods have a positive relation. Now we will see the complementaries. I told you complementary means which helps us to use. Chalk helps us to use this board, the very good board. But without chalk, it is of no use. Still it is a very good board, but I don't have the chalk. Now how can I going to explain the things on this board? By appreciating it, you are a very good board. Come on, you start writing yourself. Is it happens? No. So we need a chalk. This is a complementary good to this one. Got it? Like a bike. It is yours. You purchased it by spending 90,000 rupees, but that bike needs petrol. If you don't put the petrol, that bike is not going to run. See, petrol is a complementary to the bike. In the tire you need the air. Air is complementary to the wheel. Something helps us to use it. Okay, so here complementary goods. Here we used car and fuel. What we are using? Car and fuel. It is a direct example in the textbook. So I am depicting directly from the textbook examples so that you won't get any confusion. If I use some different one, you may get confused. So that's why I am depicting everything, whatever is in the textbook, I am taking it as it is here. Now you see, car and fuel, they are what? Complementaries. Price of car was 5 lakhs. Demand for car is how much? 1000 cars in a month. Do you remember? In the last period I explained you, to explain the demand of a commodity we need to have 5 things. Out of them, how much quantity? 1000. Okay, fuel price was 75. What is the demand for this fuel? 500 liters. Okay, this is 500, 1000 cars, this is 5000 liters. When the price is 75, when the price is 5 lakhs. Clearly you are getting it now. These are two complementaries. Car price is 5 lakhs and demand for the cars is 1000 in a month. Fuel is a complementary good. Its price is 75 rupees. Demand for the fuel is 500 liters. Okay. Price of cars did not change, same 5 lakhs. But all of a sudden demand for cars increased. See here, same 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs. But demand for cars increased from 1000 to 2000. You know why? Because price of fuel decreased from 75 to 50 rupees. Then all of a sudden, see, price decrease, demand increase. Anytime for any commodity, price decrease, demand increased from 500 to 1000 liters. A positive, a negative relation can be seen, an inverse relation. Price decreased, demand increased. But without any change in the price of car, demand of car also increased. It's the simplest logic. In our Karimnagar or in our India, the price of the petrol is nowadays somewhere around 85 something. If all of a sudden the petrol rate decreases to 25 rupees, just assume, it won't happen, assume it 25 rupees, then automatically we'll start thinking, why shouldn't I purchase a car? Because car goes with 1 liter petrol some 15 to 20 kilometers, whereas bike goes 80 to somewhere around 60 to 80 kilometers. Okay, so that's why we use bike more, car less. Because by using less of petrol, you can move a longest period, distances, longest distances. So that's why instead of car, we are using a bike. But when the price of the fuel decreases to 25 rupees, we all will put our bikes at home and we like to purchase a car and start using it to go to anywhere. Even longest distances also, we want to go by car. Even shortest distances also, we prefer car. Why? Because petrol rate decreased. So with this we can see the complementary goods have a negative relation, whereas substitute goods have a positive relation. Let us see this in contrary. The price of car is 5 lakhs, demand for cars is 2000, reverse, and fuel price is 50 rupees. Demand for fuel is 1000 liters. All of a sudden, price of fuel increased to 75. Price increased, demand decreased to 500 liters. At the same time, demand for car is also decreased to 1000 cars per month. See here, there is no change in the price, but still demand for cars decreased. This shows the inverse relation in between complementary goods that can be explained with the help of this graph. Here we show the price of fuel, and here we show demand for cars. The relation will be inverse. Price of fuel is 75 and demand for cars is how much? 1000. All of a sudden fuel price decreased to 50, demand for cars increased to 2000. If price of petrol increases, it is an assumption, 100 rupees, demand for cars decreases to 500. Don't you understand this? So simple to understand, right? So we have a inverse relation in the case of complementaries and we have a positive relation in case of substitutes. With this we can conclude that price demand, income demand and cross demand, related goods demand. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about elasticity of demand, demand elasticity. Okay, here let's conclude this class.